I'll record the online.
Okay, it's a little bit after 1. Do you want to get us started?
Ready to rock, yeah.
All right.
We up and running up there? Everybody can hear us?
Yep.
We're doing good? Awesome. All right, good afternoon. Welcome to the July Trinity County Fire Safe Council meeting. I'm Mike Mondo. I'm with Lewiston Fire. I will pass it on over to you.
Hello, this is Skylar Fisher, the County Fire Safe Council Coordinator with the RCD.
Carol Ball, Trinity Center Volunteer Fire Department.
Chris Brendaville, Weaverville Fire.
Kelly Sheen, Executive Director for the Trinity County Resource Conservation District.
Emily Acer, Project Coordinator for the RCD.
Awesome. We'll go around clockwise around up there. Michaela.
Hey guys, District 2, Caltrans, Vegetation Management. Glad to be here.
Right. Dave.
Dave DeLang, Trinity Public Utilities District.
Brad. Chris.
I am Chris Cole, District Conservationist for the Natural Resource Conservation Service for Trinity County.
Awesome. Who's the office administrator? Is that us? Or is that...
Probably
With Willow Creek.
Oh,
Be Andre.
Hi, I'm Andy McBroom with the Willow Creek Fire Safe Council, admin.
Jerry.
Hi all, Jerry Cousins with the Trinity County Collaborative, and I have to leave today just a little after 2.
Copy that. Ethan.
Hello, my name is Ethan Fagan. I am the Forest Health Program Director for the Trinity County RCD.
Awesome. Dina.
Dina Magdaleno with the Sonoma Council.
So welcome. Office note taker.
I think that's with Andy.
Oh, with Andy. All right. Casey.
Whoa, that was crazy.
A little bit broken, but we heard you. Welcome, Casey. Cindy.
Hello, Cindy Childress with the Neuromic Wintu Nation.
So, Jen.
I think Jen might be having some audio difficulties.
Fair.
But she's with Willow Creek Fire Safe Council.
Awesome. Sophia.
Buddy, Sophia Sadie here with the Watershed Research and Training Center's Forestry and Fuels Program.
Awesome. And Bob.
Yeah, Bob Doucette with the Shouts of Trinity.
Welcome. All right. Right on, everybody. So we got done with welcome center inductions. Anybody else have to get out of here early? Any early departures? Project update? Early departure project updates?
I more than likely will be cutting in and out due to my travels. I'll probably be losing service here and there, so I may have to hop back on the meeting.
Completely fair. All right. Discussions. Then 2026 Fire Safe Trinity Award extending to the August 2026 meeting.
Yes, thank you. I can speak to this one. So as we discussed at the last Fire Safe Council meeting, we were going to take nominations for the 2026 Fire Safe Trinity Award. We haven't received a whole lot of votes so far this year, so I wanted to broaden the discussion on this topic and receive feedback. So we started this award in 2024 in large part to honor a lot of Larry Winter's work in wildfire resilience in High and Plum and across the county. And so he received that award in 2024. And then last year, Charlie Holthouse received the award for his work professionally and as a volunteer to improve wildfire resilience in the county. And so this year, we're going into the award nomination timeline. We typically put it to the group, I think, around July, sometime in the summer. And I've received like some feedback from members of the group that it kind of reads like a popularity contest, or it's not as meaningful if we're just putting it out just for the sake of continuing this like year after year award nomination. So I'm curious everyone's thoughts, like the way that we've done it previous years. The first year, I think we were just all in agreement about Larry. And then last year we opened it up for nominations, and then Charlie received the most nominations. We brought it to the group agreed, and then we moved it to the Board of Supervisors. So curious, like groups thoughts, like how we did it last year. Do we want to do that again? If nobody comes to mind for this year, like collectively, do we want to skip a year and come back to the discussion next year? I'm open to feedback.
I'm just, I guess I'm not sure, because I've asked this before, is there a criteria, for the award, or is it just, based on the number of nominations? So that's just, I'm just unclear how it works, the number of nominations. Anyway, I just don't know.
Yeah, right now we've said like nominate somebody that you believe has improved like wildfire resiliency or fire safety in your like neighborhood, community, or county. So we've kept it fairly broad. So like maybe it's something that we should better define.
Maybe a suggestion. Right now, you're just tabulating the number of nominations to identify the award, right?
Correct.
So what if we get nominations and then we put a ballot out to the entire Fire Safe Council, and the Fire Safe Council votes for the person to get the award?
Okay.
Just another way to do it.
I second that.
I like that as well. That sounds really solid. How many people do we have nominated so far?
Right now we just have a handful.
Just a handful?
Yeah.
Like 5?
Yeah, around 5.
Around
Yeah.
5. Awesome.
So yeah, we haven't had a whole lot of engagement yet, but we did drag our feet on like putting a lot of outreach about it. Like it went in the newsletter last month, but we only got an ad in the journal this week. So we're hoping to get more within the next month, but what we can plan to do is receive the nominations. And so would a good flow for the group be with our next newsletter? We say, here's like the top 3 people that receive nominations, like cast your vote now, and then we discuss it at the Fire Safe Council meeting, or would we rather like put in ballots at the Fire Safe Council meeting? Oh, I get a thumbs up. Thank you.
I think it would be good to, I like the suggestion that you take the top 3 or 4 nominees, and then you have but it shouldn't, I don't think it should be an open vote. I think people should be able, Fire Safe Council members should be able to have a private vote that go to you, Skylar, and then you just announce the results.
Could we have a Google, like a link to a Google Doc or a Google form rather, that where you could cast a ballot?
Yeah.
And then tabulate the ballots and then announce
The ballots or the votes?
the actual votes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like that.
Are we okay if I put it out on the newsletter?
Is that usually right at the beginning of the month ish?
It's the Monday, typically the Monday or Tuesday before the meeting. So it would have gone out this week.
Okay. Could there be a special notification earlier than that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to give people time to see it and respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, perhaps the week, the Monday before.
So like 2 weeks to cast your vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would be great.
So moved.
Great. Yeah. Thank you.
And seconded.
Great. Yeah. I really appreciate the honesty and the feedback. We want to make sure that this still like feels like something meaningful and not like an arbitrary thing that we're doing. So thank you.
All right. Squared away. Any objections? Solid. Looking sharp. All right. Moving forward to grants and upcoming grant opportunities. Want me to read them?
I'm happy to summarize. So I sent the agenda in the chat, which has a breakdown of 4 different grant opportunities that are currently open. So the first, CAL FIRE's Forest Health Research Grant Program is currently open. Funding caps vary based on like what research topic that you're hoping to pursue. If that's something you're looking to get a project in, there's limited awards on that one, and it's due July 30th. The Joint Fire Science Program currently has 4 different research topics that they're funding for. The 4th category, the regional project, our region is not a priority, so probably there's essentially 3 openings for Trinity County, and that's going to be due in September. The CAL FIRE Tribal Wildfire Resilience Grant is open through September 8th, and the cap for that is $3 million. And then the Sierra Nevada Conservancy Wildfire and Forest Resilience Directed Grant Program is currently accepting concept proposals for either planning or implementation projects, and those are due, I believe, on Monday. So you gotta be quick. I want to put one together for that.
Fast on that one.
Does anybody know if they're applying for the Sierra Nevada program?
So right now the RCD is putting together an implementation proposal to complement the McConnell work to do some prescribed fire in areas that already have the compliance. And then I don't know if you want to speak more to this, Sophia, but I know the Watershed Center is also putting in a planning ask.
Yes, we are. I can talk about it now or during our update. But yes, we do have a planning concept proposal in the works for the Upper Trinity.
Cool. All right. Anybody have anything else on grants there? Grants coming up? All right. Council coordinator update.
I think the only thing for the group is we're going to start planning for our campfire education event. That's going to happen towards the end of October. We have funding from the State Coastal Conservancy to do like a campfire safety and fire ecology event. Emily's leading the planning for that. And there will be s'mores. So to entice folks, there will be s'mores. So we're looking forward to planning that event.
Know where it's going to be?
We're planning for the Weirville Community Forest. But we got funding through SCC to do 5 events. So we're going to do 1 in each region of the county. So this is like our first year. So we're just doing 1. And then next year, we've talked about hitting up North Lake.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of all the campgrounds and KOA and how many campfire issues we deal with every summer. I mean,
I was thinking it would be a good time to do North Lake, because since we're not doing this until October, I figured North Lake would be good to hit when there's more tourists around in the summertime. Because one of the things that I wanted to highlight was how to put a proper campfire out properly and use the VFD to kind of like teach people who may be coming in to do that.
so you would start in October.
So the one in the Weirville Community Forest, we're doing it. It's just a 1-night thing.
Yeah.
We're starting that in this October. And then next year we'll probably do 2 of them, so it can be any time during the year.
I would say my suggestion would be next year, wait till July to
Yeah.
do the North Lake.
That's what I was thinking.
That would be perfect because we have
Cool. Yeah.
Bunches of
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Campgrounds.
Yeah, I figured for North. Yeah.
campground fires.
I figured for North Lake it'd be good to hit during the summertime when you had a lot of people there and could really take the opportunity to educate people how to put a campfire out properly.
That
So
would be wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah, and we'd be glad to help.
great, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Can we talk about fireworks at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it from us.
Cool. All right. On to project updates. Do we have anybody from Alta Bali Consulting?
Yeah, Chris was on. Oh yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find the switch. I apologize. And I guess I get to go when you go in order from A to Z. I guess I go first. But it's good you go in reverse order too. I don't always want to go to first. Sharing at the last meeting, we talked about the wildfire prevention grant that I was planning to apply for the Post Mountain Blue Fire fuels reduction project. Unfortunately, we did not end up applying for that, and I do feel bad. I do want to thank the council, of course, for the letter of support. Ultimately, it was it was Leroy that kind of suggested, through other discussions that he didn't feel that they were ready to take on a grant of that size, which I can't disagree with. It's a big leap. Um, so in lieu of that, I want to thank Carol for pointing out the California Fire Foundation grant, which we were able to apply for on time for a $25,000 request. If you remember, the whole project was to treat about 100 acres on 200. There's 200 acres of area that could be treated. We planned with that 500,000 to 750,000. We planned to treat about 100 acres. So with this California Fire Foundation grant, we're requesting to treat 2.5 acres, basically one property, and use it as as an example, as a pilot. To demonstrate what can be done. A lot of folks, I keep learning that, a lot of folks out there, they are not from California, and they do not have the kinds of appreciation you get when you live in fire country, that this is a dangerous landscape. And so a lot of people just don't get that. And so there's going to need to be some education on that level. So hopefully we receive that grant and can do some work. We've talked to our logger about doing a smaller area. He's game. We talked to the fire department about doing a smaller area. Their game. We still, of course, need to apply for a larger grant. There is a wildfire prevention grant that is coming available in the fall. So we're going to have to look for partners for that. There may be some money. I don't know. We'll have to talk. Kelly may have some money. The RCD may have some money. We don't need to do it all at once, so that's fine if we get pieces. Although it does need to be done in 2 years. We have 2 years. We have to complete all the work by 2028 in order to continue to qualify under the CEQA exemption, which we received. I don't know if I mentioned that, but we did finally receive the CEQA exemption, or the suspension. I'm sorry. It's called the CEQA suspension. So we are covered under that, but we'll only be covered until the fall of 2028. So we're okay in doing it in pieces, but it does need to get done by fall 2028, or else we have to go and redo the CEQA. So anyway, thank you for your LOS. We are continue to look for funding and partners on this. The project, even though we didn't apply for it, I think we got some good information. The process of applying definitely made us have to refine our design better, which is good. And I think we're in a better place to get a grant the next time around, and hopefully having these meetings, attending these meetings. I'm welcome. Chris@altabali.com. I encourage anyone to reach out, or if you have comments now, I definitely appreciate it. But that's enough of me. Thank you.
Hey, Chris, this is Dave, PUD. With that CEQA suspension, I believe you need to start the project at least somewhat by October 15th of this year. Is that
good point. And we're hoping that $25,000 grant from the California Fire Foundation will cover that. If not, we may have to just take a day out there and have the fire department cut some brush. It doesn't say how much. So we're looking for an area that we can do some initial work. I tentatively actually have a place. The landowners are willing. They signed up initially, and so they're still willing. But yeah, the plan now is to start by doing the work on the 2.5 acres. Hopefully get a bigger chunk of change, next year, and then start the fall of 2027. So it'll be a little tighter, but yeah. And then there's also the chance, I mean, I kind of think, Newsom's already extended this. Maybe there'll be another extension. Do they really want projects that have started and are halfway done to say, sorry, you can't continue. You've got to go back to the drawing board. I mean, I'm hopeful that the state kind of says, well, but yes, good point.
I just wanted to make you aware of that because we're under the same.
Yep, we are. And I imagine you'll talk about, you guys were applying as well. So I imagine you'll talk about that at your point.
Awesome. Thanks for the update, Chris. And moving forward, do we have a BLM representative today? Negative. All right. CAL FIRE is not here. No. All right. Caltrans. We have any Caltrans updates?
I saw Michaela was on, but I think she get shot off.
Dropped off, and she comes back. We can get back to that one.
Maybe you next.
High and Palm is not here. Lewiston is not here. We do not have much going on in Lewiston right now that I know about. That anybody's informed me of. So no update with us. But, see, the conservation or natural resources conservation service. Anybody?
Yeah. Hey, this is Chris here. They just quick update. So we've had 5 projects funded previously, and then in the last couple of weeks we found out that we had 2 more projects funded, which is good news. That was funded under our EQIP program. There are relatively large projects. It'll be around $500,000 in total, primarily fuels reduction work, and that'll be split between the High and Palm area as one of the projects, and then the other project, which is over 100-acre project, that's occurring in the South County, in the kind of Kenton Palm area. And all our projects are all private land, so that's good news. Some more money and some more fuels reduction getting done in the county. But besides that, that's my only update. Thanks.
Right on. Thank you, Chris. See, we got Cindy. Cindy's up there.
I don't have anything to report, but the Hayfork Watershed Youth Crew came out and did 2 days of fuels reduction out at the Cultural Center and did a little TEK, traditional ecological knowledge with the tribe, learning about the tribe. And we had several students from Weaverville High School and several students from Hayfork High School. And the team out there was great. They did an excellent job. And so shout out to the Hayfork Watershed YCC. That's it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Let's see.
Cindy, could I ask, I remember in a previous meeting, you said that somebody was contracted for the workshops that were gonna like complement some of the prescribed firework. I was curious if those had happened yet, and if they did, if they went well.
Say that again?
Were there gonna be workshops about like cultural fire to complement the prescribed fire efforts? Did those happen yet?
Not yet. We did receive a $100,000 grant for that, and so we are just in the very early stages of that. So we will definitely be letting you guys all know. And yeah.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
So awesome, thank you. Good memory.
All right. The North Coast Unified Air Quality Management.
Hey guys, no update for me this time.
Thanks, Casey. PG&E. PG&E representative, not today. Safe Council. Got anybody? Anybody from SPI? Don't think so. Southern Trinity Fire Safe Council. Buddy? Nope. All right. Clicking through them. Board of Supervisors.
So same update, I provided the collaborative. So with Steve, you were here, but Title II funds, 3 years worth. Title III funds, sorry, to the rack, thank you. Those will go out for proposal mid-September. For a mid-October public noticing and early November award.
Do you have any idea of what that 3 years worth of funding amounts to?
I don't, but I can probably get an answer for you before the end of the meeting.
Because people have said so.
I do know how much is out there, yeah, for sure.
Do you know, one time we were thinking some of those funds might be reserved for improvements to the communication system. Do you know if that's gonna happen or if all the funds are gonna be available for other?
That's a really good question. And so what's going on right now is that we learned that as kind of like a parallel track with congressionally directed spending dollars, there are USDA dollars. And there is a category of USDA that we perfectly qualified for, that project be a perfect fit for. And we have the USDA representative kind of in our back pocket for January assistance with, filling out that sort of grant proposal. And so that's the huge hope right now. The other thing is that we learned that the reason that we were not successful in the congressionally directed spending dollars is because they put in sort of a last minute requirement that this couldn't be the first time you had applied for that project. And we learned that in the review, those members of Congress that were to review those and sort of rank them, select them, they realized the importance of this project, the priority of the project, that we did really probably a pretty good job with the application, but it was our first time to apply for it. And so that just threw us out of the sort of contest from the get-go. So my hope is that we would be looking toward those funds and not take these Title III, but I can only tell you that's my hope. I have not heard that's Trent's thinking at this time or what a recommendation will be, but that's it. Let me see if I can get you those numbers. That's the end. That's
All right. Thank you, Jill. Collaborative group. Sure.
I'll just start. We had a meeting, much of it was concerning process and protocols, and that's still in the works. Update as that develops. Regarding fire cameras, more conversations and questions continue to happen. So we're waiting for responses, although we know that Alert California is getting ready to come up and do the Bonanza King camera when it's ready. I'll let Carol and maybe Kelly give more details on the collaborative meeting, if you would.
I just want to say the bottom line is Jerry and Pat.
Hard to hear you, Carol.
Sorry, Jerry and Pat have been working really hard trying to get the special use permit, which we still don't have. Sounds like we're getting a lot closer to it. So
yeah, I would have to. This is Pat. So with Bonanza King, I mean, the encouraging thing is that there's a fellow that's been assigned by the director who specifically work on getting this special use permit wrapped up from the camera side of it. And there's, I would say, full engagement right in the last week between Colby at UC San Diego and the Forest Service special use permit person. And we're resolving things as we go along. But anybody who's ever done permitting, regulatory work knows that every answer creates a new question. So there are little questions, but they seem to be easier to answer kinds of things. This morning's email back and forth kind of thing that I noticed, I thought it seemed to me neither the person designing the project or the special use permit person have ever been to Bonanza King. So I offered that if they needed somebody to go up and measure things off or take pictures of specific places or parts of the site, Carol and I will be there tomorrow or Saturday for them and get it done. So I'm encouraged, but you just never know.
Yeah, the questions this morning focused around the flagpole. Are they gonna put the camera on the flagpole? If we do, it's a historic flagpole. So, then we have to go through a whole different permit process. So the answer is no, the camera does not go on the flagpole.
So if you use a historic flagpole, it has to go to the National Preservation
Right.
Department, which again is another review. Velocity is kind of taking responsibility for the downriver camera. I've asked Travis to maybe make the request to Alert California, since if they come up, to also bring up the equipment for downriver, so we don't then have to wait for another go around with UC San Diego. I've not heard back on that yet.
Because the UC San Diego crew will be up in the north part of the state the week of August 4th.
Yes.
Yes, right. And they're funding the equipment and the ongoing maintenance. So they are the sponsor of these two cameras.
Alert California is the one funding. So he does that.
UC San Diego.
And other, I don't know, other collaborative things that are little Carol or Kelly have anything they would add. So,
Let's see, trying to recall.
Well, I guess the bottom line was, so the group was trying to figure out how we interact with the Forest Service. If it is the group providing comments through the board of supervisors to the Forest Service, that's the current procedure, and that does not require FACA protocols. But if the collaborative wants to provide comments to the Forest Service directly in order to kind of deal with some of the shortened timeframes lately, then we would have to be a FACA chartered group, and that is a lot of time-consuming paperwork. So, so the group is kind of looking at how to still provide comments through the Board of Supervisors in the most expeditious, useful way.
So
that was good. The collaborative wanted to be able to respond to the Forest Service more quickly than going through 1, 2, or 3 meetings for the specific projects, because Forest Service now has reduced the public comment time, if there's any, down to 2 weeks. So we wanted to kind of just make the process a little smoother to help Forest Service move forward with the social license that they ask for from the collaborative.
And a small group from the collaborative agreed to kind of work together to kind of come up with a template or flow kind of chart to do that.
that group consists of Tara, Kelly, Kristen, Kelly, and myself. And I sent the introductory email, but last time I checked my email, I have not heard back from Forest personnel yet. I imagine it's challenging to get those 3 individuals into the same space. And my further suggestion was going to be, they could sort of confer among themselves, and one of them could bring it to us to try to make it a little easier for them. So
that's true.
Yeah, but we don't need something back until this is July, August, September meeting, and I'll see 2 of them. One of them on August 7th. We'll get it.
Yeah, I think the bigger thing to bring to the forest has to do with just aligning timing with the board, with the collaborative group meetings, and with when those public comment periods would be available. So I think that's just a little bit more coordination, because they just were like, oh, we're ready. So they put them out, and then comment periods open now with really any coordination of the timing. So I think because creating a level of awareness, there's a desire on their part to have that comment, and especially something specific from the collaborative group. So I think they'll be willing to work with us. It's just a matter of making sure everything lines up timing-wise.
Agreed. And the other piece I would add to that is that they seem to have sort of language in their just conversational pieces that say, well, it doesn't really close. You can really comment whenever you want, but that's not what we have known to be the case. We've known there to be a deadline. Yeah. And so I'd like clarity on what do you all mean by that? And they said that the statement was kind of, well, right up until it would change something. Well, what does that mean? Or what date would that be?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think just clarity on those pieces, and then it'll be easy to figure out then how do we work backward.
This is Dina. I wanted to give a little input on this. Travis, I think, is a really good person to work with velocity. The County Office of Education, the Forest Service, the Burnt Ranch School District, the Sonungway Council all worked for years getting the tower put in on Ironside. And there were many roadblocks that came along the way. And but there is a process that's not always clearly understood by us. And I think that navigating that is something that Travis has learned to do. And apparently the coalition is in touch with him, but it is cumbersome, and there's people, when people retire, you start all over again, and there's just an unknown process. And with a change of administration, the process has now changed again. And so as Jerry said last year, the cameras for Burnt Ranch were already in the plans and ready to go. And then we missed the window. And so here we are trying to get back into the window again on Ironside. And the tower's already there. Travis has already agreed. All of that's all in order. But you're right in focusing on a window. And you're right also that there is no consistency that we understand in the way that the forest manages these issues. And so having the collaborative stay on top of it on behalf of us is really a great thing. And just be patient. It'll happen, but you have to be patient.
So Dina, for clarity, I think that we like morphed into sort of a second conversation. I just don't want you to think it's the same conversation. We went from talking about cameras to talking about a collaborative initiative to be very clear with the Forest Service on sort of all projects going forward and how the collaborative gets to speak into those. We kind of weren't talking about cameras anymore. Just so you know.
We have that same issue for the tribe. Is how do you do that? How do you set that up so that's a consistent thing? And having an MOU that schedules regularly and with everything defined is how the Forest Service likes to do things. And so having the collaborative be able to get in that kind of a process would help ensure that when we want to have regular meetings, that it happens, because once you're in their schedule, then they schedule you. And so some attention to how you can get the collaborative into the system that exists for the forest is critical.
Looks like we have a raised hand with Chris. Josie, you have a question?
Yep, I'm hitting my button here. Sorry. I don't know if I know we're talking more generally about Forest Service, and I don't know if we're still talking about cameras, or if we've kind of gone, but I think it applies in both ways. I don't know if we've thought about, so one of the things that in a lot of ways, it's kind of like the Forest Service is a lot like Congress. With Congress, like everybody, they have these must-pass bills. They got to pass the budget, and everybody kind of like attaches their things to the budget to get it passed. And that kind of thing applies, in my experience, to the Forest Service as well. When it comes to projects that generate timber, which are extremely important, and even more so under this administration, there are real expectations that come from the very high levels. So projects projects that involve timber harvest that are high priorities need to get done. And so a lot of times what makes sense to do is to attach smaller needs to those bigger projects. And so, for example, a project that is talking about thinning, the forest or whatever, that does some thinning, does some vegetation management, adding putting up cameras as part of that project then heightens the need for the Forest Service to approve. It'll increase the likelihood that something like that is approved. And so just, I don't know, this may have been discussed before, but I just wanted to suggest that sometimes tying these little things that need to get done to larger projects that are high priority can work as a way to get those little things done as well.
Chris, I think you're right. The problem has been that even though there's approval, once the camera's approved, it gets shuffled off to another department that has to have oversight and all the questions, which then oftentimes goes off to a secondary department for specific oversight for communications, which generates more and more questions. So
So we're not
really
even in the
seems,
NEPA point anymore. We're kind of past NEPA at this point. We're in.
well, we got pulled out of the NEPA because it was supposed to happen that much faster.
Oh, yeah, Chris, we started off with the camera Bonanza King included in the North Kennedy project, which has been in the works for years. And so when we kept asking about it, they said, oh, all we really need to do is a letter to the file. It doesn't need to be big NEPA because all it is a little tripod on an already disturbed site. The issue has been, like Jerry said, then even if the NEPA was done, it still needs a special use permit. And then it has to go to Washington for all these communication kind of permits. So the larger NEPA, including it, was not the strategy that worked. It actually made things worse. Versus if we had started off at the very beginning, just saying all we need is a letter to the file, we'd be a lot further along.
And could I ask who would be the holder of the special use permit?
UC San Diego.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. All right.
But
Thank you.
also for downriver, it would be Velocity.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only other thing I would add for collaborative group was we had a field tour on June 9th, or no, it was June 12th, out to the Junction City project, which is a partner-led NEPA that the Watershed Center is running for something, if I remember correctly, something like 6,600 acres in and around the west side of Junction City proper. There is a little bit of a green timber component to it, but it's fairly small. Most of it's in the Monument Fire footprint, so it's processing out a lot of the standing dead and the brush fields that have come in, after that fire. It was well received, I would say, by the members of the Congress. I'm sorry, the members of the collaborative and some of the community members that actually came along on that field tour. So that project is moving along pretty nicely. And the end of my report.
Awesome. All right, go. See something you know from over there.
It's like Michaela's back in Caltrans.
Oh, Caltrans. Caltrans update. Michaela, have you got anything for us?
Hey guys, I don't have anything right now, but thank you.
Awesome.
I guess one question that I'm not really sure if it's applicable setting, but with watershed councils and fire safe councils, is an RCD considered a financial sponsor to those councils, or one or the other, or no?
In our particular case, we act as coordinators for like say the Fire Safe Council. With regard to like the
Got it.
watershed,
Okay.
yeah, like with regard to like the Trinity River Watershed Council, we have a little bit more of a loose, while we're funded to do the coordination for the Fire Safe Council, there's more of a loose association with the Watershed Council. But we wouldn't necessarily call it financial sponsorship as much as basically being the actual coordinators for the group.
Okay. Yeah, my question was in regards to just like if we were going to write contracts and how we would go about doing that basically. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a different kind of relationship, as this is not like a 501c3 like a lot of fire safe councils in the state are. This Trinity County Fire Safe Council cannot go enter into agreements typically with other entities. So then it would be something more like what you're referring to, but it would need to be with an organization like the RCD as a separate entity from the Fire Safe Council. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're breaking up a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michaela.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
We like to keep you on your toes, Michaela, because in Shasta, it's a nonprofit. In an area like Humboldt, it's like there's representatives from different organizations which sit on like a committee, I think, under the Board of Supervisors. So it's very variable depending on like what county fire safe council you're talking to.
Got it.
You're breaking up a little bit, but
To do basically. It just kind of depends basically on the region, is what you're saying.
yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Somebody from planning? Planning, Resource Conservation District? Buddy?
I can go ahead and give a report out, and like Jill mentioned earlier, this was reported out to the collaborative group last week, so my apologies for any duplications. Our crews finished up a 26-acre unit on Forest Service ground adjacent to Guy Covington, Covington Mill area. And then had started in on some, I believe, treatment on Forest Service properties within that subdivision under that same CAL FIRE Forest Health grant. Our crews then moved for a week onto State Lands Commission. There's a couple of parcels in the eastern portion of the Weaver Basin that are owned and managed by the State Lands Commission. We had our crews out for about a week. We had the inmate crews out for a period of time, starting a little bit earlier this month, and then we had the Watershed Center up there doing 109 acres of mastication on that same footprint. And then we've been also working with the Humboldt County RCD in a number of efforts that include work that is cross-boundary. We're primarily doing work on the Trinity County side, but under funding through the Humboldt County RCD in conjunction with the Willow Creek Fire Safe Council. So there's some contracting work that's going to be happening down in the Sawyer area, and I know that we have sent our crews down there to do some private work on private lands in some of that same those same communities. I think that's Oh, and then, let's see, we've been with some NIFWIF funding that came through in a partnership with the Watershed Research and Training Center. We have Parks Trinity Headwaters contract that was going out to bid, I believe, within the next week or two for about, I don't know what the acreage is on it, 515 acres along Parks Creek Road, which is also known as the IP Road, through Forest Service lands and some of the lands owned and managed by the Watershed Research and Training Center. We are also working actively on the camps, the Trinity Camps project, having finished work in Stony Creek Campground, Hayward Flat Campground, and I think in the Minersville area, as well as a little bit of work that was being done on a private property up in Lake Forest Drive. And I think, oh yeah, McConnell. Thank you. That's okay. I get certain things reported to me.
Locked out of your brain.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of that, but yes, McConnell, the McConnell Foundation project that we're working with Vestra, McConnell Foundation, and Summit as contractors on that project has the SPI lands that we had identified in that area have the SPI has pulled out of that project. So we are actively looking to include treatment on SPI lands through an SNC grant, which we have had good response from Thule Potts at SNC that would be appropriate. I know from a report out, I think that I received from Ethan, our new program director, that SPI will want to continue to work with us. They're doing some work in that footprint now along the highway, but we'd like to expand upon that and get some, I think, of the some of the pile burning and things done in that vicinity as well. Outside of that, there was an assessment done by Vestra Consulting that confirmed that the project still is a viable project through the hazard mitigation program at FEMA. So we're continuing to do work, or will be continuing to do work on private lands as planned, although we've been given notice that due to fire restrictions and things of that nature, they're postponing work on that project until the fall when it starts to cool down and the fire hazard's not so extreme. But it sounds like the remainder of that project will be completed. I think that's it for me. So, Ethan, are you there? Do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'm here. Hopefully you can hear me.
We can.
Yep, you covered everything that I was thinking about. SNC funding, did that get mentioned? I may have missed that. That we're putting in a concept proposal for.
Yes, that was mentioned. He was asking if we mentioned SNC proposal.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you guys know which private property on Lake Forest? Was that Travis Maxon? Okay.
Yes.
That's a good chunk. Thank you.
Yep. Yep. So I think that's that. Thank you, Ethan.
Cool. And then last RCD updates for more downriver, the Greater Willow Creek Community Wildfire Defense Project. 12 acres were treated in June and finished implementation on the properties that had signed up for work. So if you're aware of other areas in Sawyer and Hawkins Bar, landowners who are interested in dispensable space for roadside, let us know. For the 2022 Six Rivers Post Fire Recovery Project, manual and mechanical fuels reduction will occur on private properties in the fire footprint starting in August. We're looking to update, oh, this one's fun. We're looking to update the RCD's Noxious Weeds flyer. If you've seen it, it's like Weeds to Watch. So we're wanting to update that. Skylar's specific note was that we want to make it more gripping. I will say when you look at it, it doesn't look very threatening because it's like a beautiful mountainscape. So we're gonna make it more like cowboy wanted themed.
That's the current
idea. We're workshopping it. But we're trying to update it to have a little bit more targeted what landowners can do on their properties. So we're gonna bring that to the weeds management. What's the A stand for?
Weed management area.
Thank you. The WMA at their next meeting, but that's not until October. So if anybody has any ideas for updating the flyer, feel free to send that my way. I'll be working on it with, I think, Clay.
And to clarify, that's our like brochure that we have that like folds open. Yeah. If you, yes.
So we have piles of those. Do you want them back?
We also have piles of them.
One of the things is it still has our like TCRCD at Snowcrest emails.
Oh,
There's also contact information.
There's contact information that needs to be updated. There's like quite a few things. I mean, I think it was made in like 2005, so it needs some TLC. So we have some funding for that, so I'm going to be updating that. And then last but not least, Campbell Ridge Risk Reduction Project, Jones Family Tree Service began work this past week. They're performing defensible space and roadside work. Thank you to Willow Creek Fire Safe Council for all your help and coordinating of the support for that. So, and that is end of my report.
Do you have any idea when you're gonna come back and work on the lots in Covington Mill again?
I don't know. Ethan, do you happen to know anything about that?
They finished the cul-de-sac, I think it looks like at the end of Scenic, but there's the cul-de-sac and all the other lots at the end of Greenhorn.
I haven't heard of the timing on that.
Imagine the same pals.
Yeah, they would be in effect. So I assume that like when we start seeing a relaxing of those restrictions, then we'll probably get back to finish it up.
Okay.
But I don't know a timing. Sorry. I don't
Okay,
know the
that's
actual
good.
time.
That's good.
All right, move forward. Trinity Center Volunteer Department.
No, nothing new.
Anybody from Public Utilities District?
Hey, yeah, I got a few things. I mean, that's not much of an update from last month, but our reclosers are all set on their fire settings. So we've had about 3 or 4 nuisance trips this last month, which means circuit opens, we have to go patrol the whole thing before we re-energize. We've had a couple of red flag days. We've monitored those. For a potential PSPS, we haven't implemented any of those this year. California Conservation Corps guys are at Helena still. We've been doing hazard tree abatement and trimming in Hayfork, Trinity Center, Junction City. That's all with the Community Wildfire Defense Grant monies. We've completed our project from Covington Mill to Bowerman with that shaded fuel break. We're still doing a lot of pole replacement and system hardening throughout the system, and we have applied for the CEQA exemption for the RAP project. Again, that's just a kind of a placeholder. We got a couple of trees that we're going to cut on some private parcels that just hold that place for the next 3 years or until Newsom says it's up. No real news on the RAP project. Public comment time. I think that's still slated for September, somewhere in there. So that's about it here. Good to see Ethan Fagan back in the business up here, Ethan. And other than that, I'll take any questions, or that's all we got.
All righty. Chisnungwe?
Tsunami, like tsunami.
I'm trying.
You just tsunami. Like the Norelmuc, we are looking into restoring cultural fire on the ground, particularly at our principal village, which is Cleldon, which is at the mouth of the South Fork. And we're working with members of the Karuk tribes cultural burning team to help us, guide us, and keep us within the law, because as unrecognized tribes, we're not allowed to do culture burning ourselves. We have to be sponsored by a recognized tribe, and it's in keeping with across the board for those tribes who are unrecognized in California. We sought to get some baskets back from UC Davis that were collected from our families in 1926 by Seahart Merriam. And the Blue Lake Rancheria had to sponsor us in order for us to get the baskets back. And we're going to have a ceremony on the 28th, bringing those baskets home, which is really exciting to us. But I think that sharing with you some of the ways that, like all of you, we have to go manipulate ourselves through the system is burdensome, but it's worth it. So we have to keep doing it. That's my report.
Thank you, Dan. All right. Cooperative extension. See, nobody. Forest Service, Trinity, Shasta Trinity. Nate?
The chat is out loud. If you can.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Oh.
Yes.
I take that as a yes, yeah. Hi, just quick kind of report on what's going on. We're starting up in the Peak area again with some mostly forest work and some both mechanical and hand activities going on. Mechanical is mostly just clean up around like Long Canyon Trailhead. Looking at contract work beginning again out on Bowerman. It'll be more mastication up high there by Bowerman Peak. And outside of that, Nate did put some stuff into the chat. If you guys have some questions, I could bounce to him. He is currently in another meeting as well. So I guess that's quick and dirty, but it's what I've got. Unless you have some questions, I can maybe answer.
So it says watershed, so Watershed Research and Training Center awarded fuels contracts for work in Peak and Bowerman. Are they actually working with the PALs now, or are they pulled off?
Sorry, let me adjust my volume. Did I hear you correctly? Oh, that is not the right button. Sorry, technical issue here. Okay. So I caught something about PALs. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the Watershed Research and Training Center crew was working along Highway 3, but
Yes.
is that part of the 96 acres that you're talking about? And then my understanding is they're done with that, but then they were pulled off doing any other work because of the PALs. Is that correct or incorrect?
We have had so PALs for like the activity levels for the day. We have had a rash of kind of heat that came through and shut down a lot of projects during that time, and with the red flags and kind of a combination of the both. We also had a RAWS that was giving us bad information we were having to work around and fix. And so on that side, we do have a workaround, and work should continue more steadily. As always, we'll have to work with the PALs and within EV days and so on. So, you don't have the availability or the ability to cut every day due to that. It tends to slow the progress.
Okay, but we're still hearing, so the Feller Buncher is still working out on the Long Canyon timber sale. Yeah, is that what Nate's talking about?
I actually tried to pull up the chat and I couldn't see what he wrote. So I'm sorry. There is mechanical going on. Um, some of the mechanical on Long Canyon is kind of cleanup from the logging. So they're creating piles and just kind of there's a lot of breakage in there that needed to be picked up and made to look nicer, you know. And in those areas, they're working with the pals as well. Um, yeah.
Okay. All right, Chris, I'm gonna re-message the chat just so you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I can also read the chat. Okay, Nate is a trooper and is in 2 meetings at once. Contracts for fuels reduction in Peak and High were submitted this spring and working through the process to get those awarded. Watershed Research and Training Center awarded fuels contracts already for work in Peak and Bowerman. That work is ongoing with 96 acres of manual thinning and piling complete in Peak. Our own employees are also working diligently in Peak with help of covering contract fire crews as well as AmeriCorps. NCCC. TCRCD is also continuing implementation in Bowerman and Trinity camps. Our contract for those 2 projects is scheduled to continue in the next few weeks. We are planning for a robust pile burning season this winter with 1,200 acres of cured piles on the schedule. I'll join audio on this meeting once my other meeting.
Yeah. So yeah, the watershed, the work on Peak is going quickly. I know they're making great progress. Yeah, other than that, the rest of it kind of speaks for any questions about that, I guess, or any of that.
The work on Peak has to be done by October because that was a 1-year emergency. And then these other contracts that you're talking about, would those be part of Peak or would that be part of the North Trinity project?
Be North Trinity,
Okay,
outside of Peak anyway.
got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyone from Six Rivers? National Forest. All right. U.S. Wildland Fire Service, Watershed Search and Training Center.
Hey everybody. I will just share that on top of what Chris and Nate have mentioned with our crews. We've also had folks up on the Corral Creek timber fuel break. We've been in Hitchcock Creek working on a fire line there, as well as doing that private fuel work on South Fork Road. Working hard out there. Work will start on the Bowerman unit soon, and those should be completed before November through that contract work. We are also flying our archaeologist position. So I just wanted to put that out there. Please use your channels to help us kind of fly that position would be super helpful, and we'd be grateful for any of those great resources. As has been mentioned, we are going to submit a concept proposal to SNC for some planning work in Upper Trinity that will support a CEQA effort to kind of bridge some gaps in all the great project work that's getting done up there, and also provide hopefully some support to existing NEPA planning projects. So hopefully we'll get invited to submit a full proposal, and we will, would welcome a letter of support if when that time comes, hopefully. So On top of that, I can't remember if I had mentioned this in the past, but we also did submit a pre-application to the State Coastal Conservancy for a project on Humboldt Bay Municipal Water District. And we haven't heard about that yet either, but I just wanted to throw that in as a, something hopefully on the horizon where a letter of support would be very welcome. Hopefully, if we get invited for those full proposals. And finally, we will be kicking off our community chipping program a little earlier this year than in the past. We're doing the first 2 weeks in September, starting in Hay Fork, the 1st through the 3rd, and then Hyam Palm, Trinity, Indian Valley on September 7th, Trinity Pines, Peanut, and Forest Glen on September 8th, Ruth, Mad River, South Fork Mountain on September 9th, and Kettenpalm and Xenia September 10th. If you do see those flyers around town and on social media, please share widely. We appreciate that word of mouth around in Trinity County.
We've got a couple
And a report.
here.
Thank you.
So save the date. Oh, cool.
You're the best. Thank you.
So I apologize. The Bowerman project, the cooperative fuel break part, it has a lot of different moving parts. And I'm trying to, everybody just goes Bowerman this, Bowerman that. I'm just trying to figure out which part is actually getting done. So, so part of it was the Forest Service lots in Covington Mill, and it sounds like the RCD is doing that. Then the Watershed Center is doing the mastication of Bowerman Peak, you're saying? And then there's the timber sale, and then there's the prescribed burn on the pastures. So, so you're doing the mastication part, Watershed Center, yes? And the timber sale is.
We are contracting that work out.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay. And then is the Watershed Center planning on doing the prescribed burn on the pasture soon?
Not to my knowledge, but I'd be happy to follow up with that question.
Yeah, and then I think at the collaborative, they said the timber sale went through, but it's like a 3-year window for them to do the Highway 3 timber sale part. So, okay, I'm just trying to figure out how it's all fit together, because if so many people doing different pieces, it's like the elephant thing, you get one person with the tail, one person with the trunk, and it's like, which part do I have? So, okay, thank you very much.
There's certainly a lot of moving parts, and unfortunately, I might not be the best person to put them all together at this moment, but want to make sure that you have the, answers you're looking for, if I can.
Well, if you find out that they're doing any burning, just let me know, because the fire department is definitely interested in when you might be out there burning things.
All right. Moving forward, Weaverville.
We're working through project number 41 of the 50 on our list.
Nice.
So if you know if anybody else needs help, let us know.
How's your funding moving out?
We've got enough, I think, through the end of this year.
Meaning, if you were to get those projects that are on your list done, you can.
I think so. We're sitting probably around 25,000 left.
Yes. And if the Title III money is coming up, you can.
Yeah, and with more Title III money coming, we hope.
Right? Yeah,
We'll
but of course that won't be awarded until November, so that'll be for next year.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah.
I think we're set pretty good right now. If not, I'll let you know.
Brad. 41 out of 50 is progress. That's awesome.
No fires this year, so we have nothing else to do.
Keep busy.
Has there been any progress on that common area on the Weaver Valley?
The only person from Weaver Valley Loop called is Ben Kellogg for his property. I've got no calls from anybody else.
Okay.
So have them call the fire department. We'll work something out.
Sounds good.
All right.
So they're
Because I haven't done that in a while. All right, it's
Oh,
inside.
no worries. Anybody, the Willow Creek Fire Safe Council?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh,
Thanks for holding out, everybody. I'm going to report in that on top of the Campbell Ridge Risk Reduction Project that we kicked off this week, the Willow Creek Fire Safe Council published our request for proposals earlier this month for Shaded Fuel Break Phase 3, which is 94.5 acres. Unit 1 is Willow Creek Drainage, there where the Creekside Park is. The second unit is the Panther Butterfly Gulch neighborhood, which is kind of like up above Ace in those neighborhoods more east of Willow Creek. And then we also have some oak woodland restoration that's going to be a part of this next phase of work. We're also looking at our next phase, our final phase, which will be some defensible space and hazard tree removal potentially in the Bigfoot subdivision and the terrace here in Willow Creek. We've got a lot of folks that have been reaching out here lately, and what I'm seeing on the ground with our home risk assessments as well. We've got some more defensible space work that could be done in those neighborhoods, and that would help our community out quite a bit. We're opening up our address sign program to folks that haven't already signed up for the CWDG Greater Willow Creek Wildfire Resilience Project. And that way we can install as many of those addresses in our community as possible. And also with that, we're going to be doing those blue dot assessments, making the map for water resources for firefighters. So that's moving forward. And Andy, that's the end of my report. Do you have anything to add? I don't know if you guys know Andy. If you don't, Andrea McBroom is our admin. She's been picking up on more admin hours under the NCRP Capacity Enhancement Grant. And she's been plugging away, doing what she can to help us move forward with the technical assistance grant, which is August 31st. We're gonna try to get everything lined up to have a PG&E grant or a project for the PG&E grant next year.
Yeah. No, thanks, Jen. I didn't really have anything to add. It's just nice listening in.
Right on. Well, that's the end of our report, unless you guys have any other questions.
Cool. All right, well, awesome, thank you. Future discussion items. Our next meeting is August 27th, 2026.
I do have money numbers on that.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so you said there's 383,000 for 2 years, and she expects that the current year would be another 180, so it should be around $563,000.
Nice.
For 3 years.
500.
563. But she's guessing at that 180, so that's a pretty good estimate.
That will help the county a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
All righty, well, that's looking like it.
I do have a future discussion item.
Okay.
I can share this with Skylar offline and kind of get your feedback on it, but maybe to just toss it out for thought. So Rick created a pretty neat website that doesn't require, so I'm not a technical person, but my understanding is you can feed into this far more easily than what sort of a regular website would be, and it just with spreadsheets and so forth. But it's a really great sort of docking place for these kinds of updates to live. He implemented it for the fire chiefs to utilize, and so it's got training and grants and docs and sign-up forms and comms status and a directory and so forth. That as we sit and I madly dive and try to sort of wrap my head around all the things, might be kind of fun to have a place like this where stuff just lives, and maybe it could be easily updated. So for thought and consideration.
But doesn't the RCD, do you keep track But some projects, is there a way to link your project tracking information with that?
So we're thinking like, when you talk about like the trainings and like minutes and such, like having like a loading page that says like, these are the trainings that are coming up that recently happened, here are the projects that are like ongoing, and it being kind of like a summary.
Yeah, you can kind of see what he did with this one. And again, not to necessarily take everyone's time today. Maybe I just shouldn't even have brought it up generally without asking you first. But it just occurred to me that places where stuff can live with that. People like me that can like read it better than hear it and comprehend it. Maybe it's be an idea.
I mean, that's where I'm always asking questions about which projects are going on in our area, because our fire department is interested, like where people are out working, you know, where's the potential fire hazards and what improvements, like we have a fuel management plan and it's like, whoa, these things are actually getting done, part of our plan and all that stuff. So that's why I'm always asking questions. So if there's a way the other fire chiefs could look and see, here's the projects going on in your area. I don't know how you would do that, but that would be, even if it's just taking the written reports from people and stuffing them in there or something.
Well, I was trying to put more work on her. I was trying to create a hub where everybody could feed into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I'll send you this link and we can chat and you can ask Rick kind of why this is into your system. I don't get it, but
I know that you set it up within like a couple of hours after the last Chiefs meeting. And I was blown away, but I don't build websites and stuff. I'm like, holy smokes, you got that done really easy, right? Really fast.
Yeah.
Efficient. So
A few years ago, we did like a major overhaul to our website, but I think we can definitely improve it so it's a bit more accessible and intuitive. So like, I'm happy to hear any feedback to make it something more useful.
Sure. Oh,
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
well, on that note, next meeting, August 27th, 2026. Thank everybody for the work that you're doing. It's really rad, and thank you for being here today. And we will see you in August.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Absolutely.